Jack Murphy had always dreamed of the day humanity would make first contact with aliens. He just hadn't expected it to happen during his fourth period science class while trying to explain why Pluto wasn't a planet anymore. "But Mr. Murphy, my grandpa says it'll always be a planet to him," whined Tommy Peterson from the back row, for approximately the millionth time this semester. "And my grandpa still says the internet is just a fad," Tommy Jack replied, adjusting his NASA-themed tie. "Sometimes we have to accept that science moves forward, even if we don't like it." He turned back to the whiteboard, where he'd drawn a surprisingly decent diagram of the solar system. 10 years of teaching middle school science had at least made him an expert at drawing circles. That's when the classroom's ancient television, perpetually tuned to the local news for the morning announcements, interrupted its usual drone about bake sales and upcoming soccer games with an emergency broadcast. Jack wouldn't have even noticed if Melissa Rodriguez hadn't screamed, "Holy crap! There's a giant space toilet over Manhattan." The class rushed to the windows, and Jack found himself carried along in the tide of 13-year-olds. He had to admit, Melissa's description wasn't entirely inaccurate. The ship hovering over the Manhattan skyline did bear a striking resemblance to a chrome-plated toilet bowl turned sideways. "Everyone remain calm," Jack announced, trying to sound authoritative while pressing his face against the window like an excited puppy. "This is exactly why we have emergency procedures." "Which emergency procedure covers aliens?" Mr. Murphy asked Derek Chen, who had already pulled out his phone and was live-streaming the event. "The one for fires, the one for tornadoes, or the one for when the cafeteria serves mystery meat?" Jack stammered, realizing that nowhere in his teaching certification courses had they covered extraterrestrial visitation protocols. "Just stay in your seats." Nobody was in their seats. They were all either plastered against the windows or furiously typing on their phones, probably making Earth's first contact into a series of memes. Jack couldn't really blame them. He was trying to sneak a few photos himself. The intercom crackled to life with Principal Martinez's voice, somehow managing to sound both terrified and bureaucratically proper. "Attention faculty and students. Due to the unprecedented situation in our airspace, we will be following standard emergency procedures." Which means, everyone stay in your classrooms while we figure out which form we're supposed to fill out for this. "See," Jack said weakly. "We have procedures." The TV was now showing live footage of the world's response to the alien arrival. The United Nations was having an emergency session, which mostly consisted of representatives arguing about which country would get to speak to the aliens first. The U.S. military had mobilized, then unmobilized, then mobilized again, then finally just parked a bunch of tanks in Times Square while generals argued about proper first contact protocols. Meanwhile, the alien ship continued to hover, silent and toilet-like, while CNN's headline ticker cycled through increasingly panicked variations of "Aliens are here. Is this the end? What do they want? Why do they look like bathroom fixtures?" Mr. Murphy piped up Annie Watson, who hadn't looked up from her phone. "Twitter says there are more ships appearing over other cities. Someone in Paris says theirs looks like a giant coffee maker." Jack checked his own phone. She was right. London had what appeared to be a chrome-plated toaster hovering over Big Ben. Sydney's harbor was being overshadowed by what multiple news sources were describing as a cosmic tennis ball launcher. Tokyo's visitors had parked what could only be called a galactic rice cooker over the Shibuya crossing. "Well," Jack said, trying to maintain some semblance of educational relevance, "at least this proves intelligent life exists in the universe. That's going to completely change Chapter 7 in your textbooks." "Does this mean we don't have to take Friday's quiz on the solar system?" asked Tommy hopefully. Before Jack could answer, every screen in the room, phones, the TV, even his ancient desktop computer, suddenly displayed the same message in glowing blue text. "Attention Earth entities. Please hold for the Galactic Council representative. Your call is important to us. Current wait time 47 standard cycles." "What's a standard cycle?" someone asked. Jack shrugged. "I guess we're about to find out. And no, Tommy, we're still having the quiz on Friday. Assuming Earth isn't destroyed before then." The class groaned. Even with aliens hovering overhead, some things about school never changed. As it turned out, a standard cycle was approximately 12 minutes Earth time, which meant humanity spent the next 9 hours watching their screens display increasingly passive-aggressive hold messages. The aliens had apparently mastered faster-than-light travel but still couldn't figure out efficient customer service. Jack's class had long since devolved into an impromptu alien watching party. Someone had ordered pizza. Principal Martinez had given up on maintaining order and was stress-eating donuts in the corner, and the students had created a surprisingly thorough spreadsheet cataloging every alien ship by its resemblance to household appliances. Please enjoy this selection of calming music from the Andromeda Galaxy while your call is being processed. The screens displayed, before playing what sounded like a mix between whale songs and a malfunctioning garbage disposal. Finally, at exactly 6:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every screen on Earth flickered and revealed what appeared to be a conference room. 5 beings sat at a long table, each looking like they'd been designed by different special effects teams with conflicting ideas about what aliens should look like. The one in the center, who resembled nothing so much as a business-casual jellyfish wearing glasses, spoke first. "Greetings, sentient beings of Sol 3. We are the Galactic Council's Committee for the Protection of Pre-Spacefaring Species. I am Senior Administrator Blob, and before you ask, yes, that is my actual name. We simplified it for your pronunciation capabilities. My original name causes spontaneous mathematical revelations that your brains aren't ready for." Jack, who was still in his classroom with about half his students and a growing collection of faculty members, raised his hand automatically. Senior Administrator Blob pointed a tentacle at him. Yes, the human in the stellar pattern neck decoration. Hi, Jack said, suddenly realizing he was possibly Earth's first official speaker to alien life. Jack Murphy, science teacher. Quick question, why does all your technology look like our household appliances? Blob's gelatinous form rippled in what might have been embarrassment. Yes, we've been monitoring Earth for some time, and our field researchers became rather enthusiastic about your domestic designs. There was something of a trend in copying them. I apologize for any confusion. I told them the toilet-shaped ships were perhaps too much. But you try arguing with an procurement committee that's already placed the order. One of the other council members, who looked like a distinguished pineapple wearing a bow tie, cleared their throat. Or whatever passed for a throat in their species. Perhaps we should focus on the matter at hand. Of course, Blob wobbled apologetically. Earth entities, we are here to inform you that your planet has been designated as a Class 7 protected wildlife preserve for the past 47,000 of your years. This classification was recently upgraded to include special protections for your charming attempts at civilization. The room erupted in confused protests. Principal Martinez choked on her donut. Protected wildlife preserve, Jack asked. We've built cities, we've been to the moon, we have TikTok. Yes, exactly, Blob enthused. It's absolutely adorable. The way you get so excited about basic orbital mechanics? Precious. And your persistent attempts to explain quantum physics despite barely understanding it? Simply delightful. We check the human physicist Neil deGrasse Tyson's Twitter feed for entertainment during our coffee breaks. The pineapple liked being interrupted again. We're getting off track. The point is, certain elements in the galactic community have been attempting to circumvent the protection protocols. We've had to stop 17 different species from trying to sell you slightly expired faster than light drives, 3 attempts to recruit Earth into galactic timeshare properties, and don't even get me started on the pyramid scheme involving crystalline consciousness expansion. Wait, said Annie Watson, who was still documenting everything on her phone. Are you saying aliens have been trying to scam us? Trying to conduct unauthorized commerce, corrected Blob. Which is strictly forbidden. Earth is at a delicate developmental stage. You've mastered digital technology enough to create amusing cat videos, but you still think dark matter is actually dark. You're not ready for galactic commerce. So why tell us now, Jack asked. The council members exchanged uncomfortable looks. The one that appeared to be a sentient cloud of sparkles spoke up in a voice like wind chimes in a tornado. Because someone broke protocol. A species known as the Vex Thor has announced plans to open what they call a perfectly legitimate business opportunity on Earth. They're notorious for finding loopholes in protection regulations. They're basically used car salesmen, Blob added, but for slightly defective technology that may or may not violate several laws of physics. We're here to officially inform you that any attempts by the Vex Thor to establish trade relations are unauthorized and illegal, the pineapple being stated. Also, we're implementing a new protected species designation that we created specifically for humans, adorably clever but not quite ready. That's kind of insulting, Jack said. Oh no, it's a huge compliment, Blob assured him. You're the only species we've found that simultaneously believes it's alone in the universe while also having thousands of movies about alien invasions. The psychological complexity is fascinating. We've had graduate students writing theses about your conspiracy theories for centuries. Suddenly, all the council members looked off screen with alarm. The sparkle cloud crackled urgently. We're detecting an unauthorized ship entering Earth's atmosphere. It appears to be. Oh no. What? Jack asked. What is it? A Vex Thor sales vessel, Blob said grimly. We're too late. They're already here. And judging by the energy signatures, they're planning to open a mall. The screens went dark, then displayed a new message in flashy, animated text: coming soon to Earth, Vex Mart for all your slightly questionable galactic needs. Not affiliated with or approved by the Galactic Council. No refunds, returns, or guarantees that products won't alter the fundamental fabric of spacetime. Well, Jack said to his stunned classroom, I guess we're going to have to update more than just Chapter 7 in the textbooks. Principal Martinez finally spoke up from her corner. Does anyone know if there's a standardized test protocol for this situation? The Vex Thor, as it turned out, were exactly what you'd expect from a species that had evolved to become used car salesmen. They looked like someone had taken every stereotype of a sleazy salesperson and mixed it with a gecko. Their arrival on Earth was heralded not by dramatic music or ominous silence, but by an explosion of spam emails. Jack's phone hadn't stopped buzzing since 3 a.m. with subject lines like amazing deal, slightly used quantum drives, minor reality distortion, barely noticeable, and special Earth exclusive buy one consciousness accelerator, get one free. Side effects include temporal displacement and/or spontaneous evolution. He trudged into his classroom the next morning to find his students huddled around Derek Chen's phone, watching what appeared to be the galaxy's worst commercial. Are you tired of being a primitive species? A Vex Thor in a shiny suit was saying, while standing in front of what was clearly a green-screened explosion. Sick of being treated like adorable space babies by the Galactic Council? Well, here at Vex Mart, we believe in empowering developing civilizations with slightly irregular technology at reasonable prices. They sent this to everyone on Earth, Derek explained. It's gone viral. The one in the suit calls himself Bob. Bob? Jack asked incredulously. An alien gecko in a suit named Bob. He says it's short for Bobbleplex Quantum Wiggle III, but he wanted something more relatable to Earth customers. The commercial continued, visit our new Earth location, conveniently appearing in what you primitives call New Jersey, because honestly, who's going to notice another weird building there? Remember our motto: if it probably won't destroy your planet, we'll sell it to you. Jack was about to make some comment about truth in advertising when Principal Martinez burst into the classroom, looking even more frazzled than usual. Mr. Murphy, the superintendent, is on the line. Apparently the Vex Thor have offered to sponsor our school district with something called practically safe learning accelerators, and the board wants your opinion since you're our science teacher. My opinion is that anything with the word practically in front of safe probably isn't, Jack replied, but he was interrupted by a flash of light and the appearance of 3 Vex Thor in his classroom. The one in front, wearing what appeared to be every gold chain that had ever existed, spread his arms wide. Bob Quantum Wiggle, at your service. I couldn't help but overhear your concerns about our products. Perhaps I could interest you in a free demonstration. Aren't you violating the Galactic Council's protection order? Jack asked. Bob waved a scaly hand dismissively. Minor technicality. We filed for an appeal under the Free Market Development of Promising Species Clause. Besides, we're not selling you anything dangerous. Watch. He pulled out what looked like a cross between a calculator and a lava lamp. This is our entry-level product, the Knowledge Maximizer 3000. Totally safe, barely any documented cases of students accidentally achieving enlightenment or becoming one with the quantum foam. Before anyone could stop him, Bob pointed the device at Tommy Peterson, who had been quietly trying to finish his homework from another class. There was a soft ping sound, and Tommy's eyes went wide. I understand calculus now, Tommy whispered in awe. And string theory. And why do I suddenly know the recipe for something called quantum pancakes? Side effect of the knowledge transfer, Bob said quickly. Nothing to worry about. Now, who wants to make a deal? We're offering a special discount for educational institutions. Buy 10 Knowledge Maximizers, get a free reality warper. Only slightly used, previous owner was just a small civilization that accidentally wrote themselves out of existence. That's it, Jack said, stepping between Bob and his students. Everyone out of the classroom. Bob, I'm going to have to ask you to leave before I contact the Galactic Council. Bob's smile widened. But that's the beauty of it. By the time they process the paperwork for your complaint, we'll have already established a legally binding presence on Earth through your charming concept of early adoption markets. Speaking of which, who wants to be our first Instagram influencer? The compensation package includes a slightly radioactive hover car. Several hands went up before Jack could stop them. Nobody is becoming an influencer for potentially illegal alien technology, Jack shouted, then paused. I can't believe that's a sentence I just had to say out loud. Your concern for your students is admirable, Bob said, his smile somehow getting even wider. Perhaps you'd be interested in our teacher's special? We have some lovely brain enhancement devices that are only minimally addictive. Principal Martinez, Jack said calmly. I think it's time to implement our emergency procedures. Which one, she asked. We still haven't figured out which form covers aliens. The one for the mystery meat days. You know, total lockdown. As the alarm began to blare, Bob looked around in confusion. What's happening? Oh, nothing, Jack said with a smile of his own. Just implementing standard Earth protocol for dealing with unwanted solicitors. Did you know humans invented spam filters? We're very good at blocking unwanted sales pitches. Bob's smile finally faltered as the school's ancient PA system crackled to life, broadcasting its ear-splitting alarm across the campus. This isn't over, he warned, backing away. No one can resist our deals forever. We'll be back with even better offers. With another flash, the Vex Thor disappeared, leaving behind only a pile of business cards and what appeared to be a coupon for 20% off slightly unstable time machines. Well, Jack said, picking up one of the business cards, I guess we know what tomorrow's science lesson will be about: consumer protection in the galactic marketplace. Mr. Murphy, Tommy called out, still glowing slightly from the knowledge maximizer. I think the quantum pancakes are trying to communicate with me telepathically. Jack sighed. It was going to be a long semester. Jack Murphy had never expected to find himself standing before the Galactic Council's High Court of Commerce and Consumer Protection, yet here he was, wearing his best tie, the one with the accurate depiction of the Mars rover, and trying not to stare too obviously at the judge, who appeared to be a sentient library card catalog. The emergency session had been called after the Vex Thor's attempted infiltration of Earth's educational system, which had resulted in 3 honor students achieving cosmic consciousness, 1 cafeteria becoming temporarily quantum entangled with a food court in Alpha Centauri, and Tommy Peterson's ongoing telepathic relationship with his quantum pancakes. The Earth representative may approach the bench, intoned the judge, their filing drawers shuffling importantly. Jack cleared his throat. Your Honor, I'd like to start by asking why I'm here representing Earth. We must have actual lawyers who could do this. Senior Administrator Blob, who was serving as Earth's appointed legal advisor, rippled apologetically. Actually, you were chosen because you're the only human who successfully prevented a Vex Thor sale. That makes you our leading expert on Earth-Vex Thor relations. I just pulled the fire alarm. Exactly, Blob enthused. Such innovative legal strategy. The prosecution's side of the courtroom was occupied by Bob and several other Vex Thor, all wearing suits that seemed to be made of pure used car salesman energy. Bob stood up, his gold chains clinking like wind chimes at a pawn shop. Your Honor, Bob began, his voice as smooth as quantum oil, we're simply trying to help Earth advance as a civilization. Is it our fault if our products occasionally cause minor reality fluctuations? The warning labels clearly state use at your own risk of transcending mortal existence. The warning labels are written in microscopic text that can only be read during solar eclipses, Jack pointed out. A standard galactic business practice, Bob protested. Besides, we've already established a legal presence on Earth through your free market system. We have followers on TikTok. The judge's card catalog drawers shuffled thoughtfully. The court recognizes that Earth's social media influence represents a complex legal precedent. However, the protection protocols clearly state. Actually, Jack interrupted. Having a sudden inspiration, I'd like to present evidence about Earth's consumer protection laws. The entire courtroom rippled with interest. Even the judge's Dewey Decimal System seemed intrigued. Jack pulled out his phone. According to Earth's laws, specifically the Consumer Protection Act, any product sold must be safe for its intended use and come with clear warnings about potential hazards. I'm pretty sure may cause spontaneous evolution counts as a hazard that needs more than microscopic eclipse warnings. Objection, Bob called out. Earth laws don't apply to galactic commerce. But Earth is where you're trying to sell your products, Jack countered. And according to the Galactic Council's own regulations about protected species, any commerce must comply with local laws and customs. I've been teaching middle school for 10 years, I know how to read fine print. The judge's drawers clicked approvingly. The Earth representative raises a valid point. Vex Thor legal team, your response. Bob adjusted his tie nervously. Well, perhaps we could offer the court a special deal on slightly used legal precedents, only minor paradoxes included. Are you trying to bribe the court with irregular space-time products? Jack asked incredulously. No. No, of course not, Bob said quickly. Think of it more as a promotional consideration for the justice system's key demographic. The judge's card catalog slammed shut with a thunderous boom. This court does not accept promotional considerations, especially not quantum unstable ones. What if I threw in a free warranty? Bob tried desperately. Only slightly expired. Jack couldn't help but smile. Your Honor, I think the Vex Thor have just demonstrated exactly why Earth needs protection from their business practices. Indeed, the judge rumbled. However, there is still the matter of the existing social media presence and the products already sold on Earth. The court cannot simply undo established commercial relationships, no matter how questionably they were obtained. What if? Jack suggested, drawing on years of negotiating with 13-year-olds. We established a supervised trading relationship. The Vex Thor can only sell products that pass Earth's consumer protection standards and Galactic Council safety regulations. Everything else has to be clearly labeled as definitely unsafe. No, really we mean it, and require special permits. The judge's drawers shuffled contemplatively. An interesting proposition. Blob, as Earth's advisor, your thoughts? Blob wobbled excitedly. It's brilliant. It acknowledges both Earth's right to protection and its growing capacity for galactic commerce. Plus, it'll give my graduate students something new to write their theses about. Very well, the judge declared. The court hereby orders the establishment of a supervised trading arrangement between Earth and the Vex Thor, subject to both local and galactic consumer protection laws. Additionally, the court appoints Jack Murphy as Earth's first interplanetary consumer protection officer. Wait, what? Jack sputtered. But I'm a science teacher. Exactly, the judge said, their card catalog somehow managing to smile. Who better to evaluate questionably safe products than someone who deals with curious teenagers every day? But what about my classes? Oh, don't worry, Blob assured him. We'll provide a teaching assistant. Though we should probably mention they're a hyper-intelligent shade of blue and occasionally lecture in 5 dimensions. As the court adjourned, Bob approached Jack with what he probably thought was a winning smile. No hard feelings? Perhaps I could interest you in a slightly irregular interdimensional desk for your new office? Only minimal chance of accidentally swallowing your paperwork into a parallel universe. Bob, Jack said tiredly, we're going to have a long talk about what minimal chance means in terms of consumer safety. Behind them, Tommy's Quantum Pancakes had somehow filed an amicus brief requesting their own legal representation. It was going to be an interesting school year. Jack's new position as Earth's interplanetary consumer protection officer came with an office that only occasionally existed in normal spacetime, a badge that glowed in colors humans couldn't perceive, and a mounting headache. The Vex Thor, it seemed, had taken the court's ruling as more of a suggestion than a law. They're doing what he asked his hyper-intelligent blue teaching assistant, Azure, who was simultaneously grading papers and existing in 3 different quantum states. The Vex Thor have discovered Earth's concept of limited time offers and flash sales. Azure rippled disapprovingly. They're using social media to create artificial scarcity panic among teenagers. Their latest TikTok campaign promises epic galactic swag at prices so low they violate conservation of energy laws. Jack groaned. Show me. The holographic display showed hundreds of Earth teenagers lined up outside VexMart locations, which had somehow appeared overnight in every mall in America. Bob's face floated above each store, promising deals that will literally blow your mind. Medical coverage for spontaneous enlightenment not included. It gets worse, Azure continued, their blue shade deepening with concern. They're offering something called limited edition reality customization apps. Beta testing has already resulted in 3 teenagers accidentally creating pocket dimensions in their lockers. That's it, Jack declared, standing up. Time to end this. Azure, call the school board. I'm going to need every teenager's kryptonite a mandatory assembly. 2 hours later, Jack stood on the auditorium stage of his school, facing not just his students but tens of thousands more watching via emergency broadcast. The Vex Thor had tried to interrupt the signal, but it turned out that Earth's long history of teenage rebellion had made human communications surprisingly resistant to alien interference. Look, Jack began. Adjusting his tie, today's featured the entire periodic table, I get it. The Vex Thor offering you amazing technology at suspiciously low prices. But let me break this down in terms you'll understand. They're basically trying to sell you bootleg phone apps that might accidentally turn you into a quantum anomaly. He clicked to the first slide of his presentation, titled Why That Cool Alien Tech is Basically Just Space Malware. Their reality customization app? It's like those sketchy photo filters that want access to all your phone's data, except instead of stealing your personal information, it might accidentally delete your existence from the space-time continuum. And don't even get me started on their slightly used consciousness expander. It's just cosmic cryptocurrency mining malware for your brain. The audience stirred uncomfortably. In the back, several teenagers quietly deleted their VexMart shopping apps. But the deals someone started to protest are literally too good to be true, Jack interrupted. Remember what I taught you about checking reliable sources? The Galactic Council's Consumer Reports gives Vex Thor products a rating of "oh no" out of 10. Their Better Business Bureau rating is somehow in imaginary numbers. Suddenly, the stage erupted in a flash of light as Bob and several other Vex Thor materialized. Now, Bob said smoothly. Perhaps we could offer everyone in the audience a special promotional consideration for hearing our side of the story? Free quantum fidget spinners for everyone. Only a small chance of spinning your fingers into an alternate dimension. Stop, Jack commanded, and to his surprise, everyone did. He'd used his teacher voice, the one that could silence a cafeteria of sugar-rushed 8th graders. Students, pop quiz, what's rule 1 of internet safety? If it seems too good to be true, it probably is, the audience chorused automatically. And what's rule 2? Never trust anyone trying to rush you into a decision. Exactly, Jack turned to Bob. Your flash sales, your limited time offers, they're the same high-pressure tactics that Earth scammers have been using for years. We've developed antibodies to this kind of marketing. Bob's scales had taken on a distinctly nervous pattern. But our prices are impossible, Jack finished. And you know what teenagers love more than impossible deals? Exposing scams on social media. As if on cue, thousands of phones lit up as teenagers began posting about the Vex Thor's tactics. Space scam and galactic fraud started trending worldwide. Someone had already turned Bob's sales pitch into a meme, with the caption POV when the alien says their quantum phones are totally safe, but your last selfie created a temporal paradox. You can't do this, Bob protested. We have contracts, written in quantum ink, that only appears in theoretical dimensions, Jack countered. I checked. Also, Earth contract law specifically prohibits agreements that might accidentally erase the signatory from existence. The teenagers in the audience had started chanting space scam. Space scam, some had even made signs, because if there's one thing teenagers love more than buying things, it's protesting things. Bob looked around desperately. Perhaps a final clearance sale? Everything must go, including several laws of physics. Oh, Bob, Jack said, almost feeling sorry for him. You really don't understand Earth teenagers at all, do you? The only thing that spreads faster than your ads is their ability to make fun of them. True enough, the Vex Thor's carefully crafted marketing campaign was already being torn apart by an army of teenagers armed with meme generators and a finely tuned sense of mockery. Their sleek product photos were being remixed with pictures of exploding science fair projects. Their customer testimonials were being dubbed over with SpongeBob quotes. This isn't over, Bob declared, but his voice lacked conviction. We'll appeal to the Galactic Council. Go ahead, Jack smiled. I'm sure they'd love to see the TikTok compilation someone just made of all your fine print violations. It's set to never gonna give you up. As the Vex Thor disappeared in a flash of defeated light, the audience erupted in cheers. Jack's phone buzzed with a message from the Galactic Council. Impressive use of native Earth defense mechanisms. Perhaps we underestimated your species' resistance to questionable sales tactics. Tommy raised his hand from the front row. Mr. Murphy? My quantum pancakes want to know if this means they have to go back too. Jack sighed. Some battles weren't worth fighting. No, Tommy, your sentient breakfast can stay. But they need to stop trying to teach calculus to the cafeteria food. It had been a weird semester, even by middle school standards. The aftermath of the Great Space Scam Crisis led to some interesting changes in Earth's relationship with the galactic community. For one thing, the Galactic Council had to create an entirely new classification for humanity, surprisingly savvy for a pre-FTL species approach with caution. Jack's science classroom had become an unofficial hub for interplanetary commerce regulation, which made teaching rather interesting. His new lesson plans had to account for regular interruptions from various alien species seeking trading permits, though he drew the line at the creature that wanted to sell perpetual motion machines during his unit on thermodynamics. Remember, he told a disappointed alien merchant one morning, Earth's new trading regulations are very clear: no products that violate the laws of physics before lunch hour. The Vex Thor, meanwhile, had been sentenced to what the Galactic Council considered cruel and unusual punishment. They had to watch Earth's entire collection of infomercials and used car commercials from the 1980s. Bob had reportedly broken down crying during his third straight hour of watching people struggle with ordinary household tasks in black and white. It's like looking into a mirror of shame, he sobbed during his court-mandated testimonial. We weren't even this bad with our but wait, there's more offers. But the real surprise came from an unexpected source. Earth's memes about the whole incident had somehow gone viral across the galaxy. Alien civilizations couldn't get enough of humanity's ability to turn potential catastrophe into shareable content. The Galactic Council's own social media team had even started using Earth reactions in their official communications. Mr. Murphy Azure announced one morning, shifting through several quantum states of amusement, you might want to see this. The holographic display showed the latest galactic trade statistics. Earth's biggest export wasn't technology, resources, or even culture in the traditional sense. It was memes, specifically memes about bad marketing tactics. Jack stared at the figures. We're trading internet jokes for advanced alien technology. The galaxy has never seen anything like Earth's combination of skepticism and humor, Azure explained. Your species' ability to mock suspicious sales tactics is being studied as a potential defense mechanism against interstellar fraud. 3 different alien civilizations have already adopted the phrase, this is giving me major Vex Thor energy, to describe questionable business practices. The Galactic Council had even established a new division, the Department of Human-Inspired Consumer Protection Strategies, or as everyone called it, the Meme Team. Their first initiative was a galaxy-wide campaign against scam artists using Earth's own distracted boyfriend meme format. Tommy's Quantum Pancakes had somehow landed a job as cultural consultants. The galaxy wasn't ready for unrestricted trade with Earth, Blob told Jack during one of their regular check-ins. But it turns out Earth was more than ready to teach the galaxy about consumer protection. Who knew your species' natural distrust of sales pitches would become your greatest export? Earth's status as a protected planet had been modified to allow limited trade, but with a twist, all alien merchants had to pass a course on Earth internet culture and meme history before being granted a trading license. The final exam included identifying red flags and suspicious offers and creating at least one viral-worthy piece of content warning about scams. Jack's classroom now featured an intergalactic wall of shame, displaying the most ridiculous attempted scams that had been turned into teaching moments. His personal favorite was still the alien who had tried to sell genuine artificial, faster-than-light engines, only to be undone by a teenager's SpongeBob meme that pointed out the logical impossibility in the sales pitch. Mr. Murphy called out Derek Chen during class one day, is it true that the Galactic Council is using your "if it seems too good to be true" lesson as part of their standard consumer protection training? Unfortunately, yes, Jack replied, adjusting his newest tie, this one featuring famous internet memes from Earth's history. Though I wish they'd stop using my face for their "This Man Saved Earth with Dad Jokes" posters. The classroom's ancient television, which now picked up broadcasts from across the galaxy though still somehow couldn't show the morning announcements without static, displayed the latest news-breaking Vex Thor rehabilitation program shows promise. Former scam artists now creating anti-fraud PSAs using Earth meme formats. You know what the funny thing is, Jack mused to his class. Humanity spent centuries wondering if we were alone in the universe, preparing for every possible first contact scenario. We had plans for alien invasions, diplomatic meetings, even interstellar war. But nobody ever predicted that our greatest defense against alien threats would be our ability to make fun of bad commercials. Tommy raised his hand. Mr. Murphy? My Quantum Pancakes want to know if this means we passed the Galactic Civilization test. Jack looked around his classroom, where students were simultaneously learning about the solar system and helping moderate intergalactic trade disputes. Through the window, he could see a line of alien merchants waiting for their Earth Cultural Comprehension certificates, all clutching study guides about human meme culture. You know what, Tommy? I think we created our own test. And somehow, by being exactly who we are, a bunch of skeptical humans who love turning everything into a joke, we passed with flying colors. Also, Tommy added, The pancakes wanted me to tell you they've just been appointed as the new head of the Galactic Council's Department of Breakfast-Based Philosophy. Jack nodded. At this point, why not? Just remind them that quantum syrup is still banned under Section 7 of the new trade agreements. Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, Bob was watching his 17,000th infomercial about revolutionary new kitchen gadgets, while Earth's newest galactic marketing campaign spread across the stars human wisdom, because sometimes the best defense is a good meme. And in a middle school science classroom in New Jersey, Jack Murphy started another day of teaching, now with the additional responsibility of helping humanity navigate its way through the galaxy, one skeptical joke at a time. After all, someone had to make sure the aliens read the fine print.